Hi there, what's up? First of all, I hope everyone's doing well, having a safe life. Welcome to my English class. Today we're going to complete Unit 8, grammar part. So I'm going to do my best to simplify everything and make everything easy and clear. So let's get started together now. First of all, I need from everyone to look at these statements and try to guess what are the differences between these statements. So you can pause the video for 30 seconds and try to find the answer. Okay guys, let's read the first two statements. Sam wrote this letter yesterday. This letter was written by Sam yesterday. So what's the difference between the first two statements? Um, Guys, if I ask you a question, who wrote this letter yesterday? I think the answer is clear and simple. It's Sam, right? So Sam is the agent of the action in this sentence. He is the actor of the action in this sentence. So we call this sentence active. But look at the second one now. This letter. We start the sentence with the receiver of the action. So we call this sentence passive. So now what's the difference between the active voice and the passive voice? The active voice, when I want to focus on the agent, when I want to focus on the actor of the action, someone who does something. But the passive voice, when I want to focus on the receiver of the action, I mean, I'm not interested in the agent, I'm not interested in the actor of the action. So we call these statements passive. So this is the main difference between them. So kindly keep this information in your mind. Another important thing that how to transfer statements from the active voice to the passive voice. Actually, there are some steps which are useful. Now, look at this sentence. Sam wrote this letter yesterday. If you notice in the second sentence, we started with the object, and this object became the new subject for the new sentence. So this letter. Another important thing is that you have to know the tense of the sentence. If it is simple present, present perfect, simple past, future. So you have to know the tense of the sentence. And what is the tense of this sentence here? I think you can know from the main verb. And the main verb is wrote, and this is verb 2. Another important thing that you have to use the past participle. I mean the verb 3. And at the end, you can use by if it is necessary to mention the agent. So this is the general rule. The active sentence starts with subject, verb 2, object, complement. Complement means the rest of the sentence. You always start with object, then was or were. You have to use one of them. Was for singular, were for plural, then verb 3, the past participle, and then the complement. So this is the general rule how to transfer statements from the active voice to the passive voice in the past or in the simple past tense. Let's move now, guys. Mr. Adam is teaching this class. Another question. Who is teaching this class? I think it's clear and simple. Mr. Adam. So Mr. Adam is the agent. Mr. Adam is the actor in this sentence. He's the actor of the action in this sentence. So this sentence is active. But look at the second one now. This class, we focus on the receiver of the action. This class is being taught by Mr. Adam. So this sentence is passive. Now let's go now to the tense of this sentence. We have is teaching. So the tense here in this sentence is present continuous. And what is the general rule? You can follow this one. Subject am is are plus verb ing plus object plus complement. You have to start with the object. Then am is are. Depending on the object, if it is singular, plural, then you have to use being plus verb 3 plus complement. Now, I have lost the key of the car. The key of the car has been lost. Can you identify which one is active and which one is passive? Yeah, that's correct. The first one is active and the second one is passive. And what is the tense of this sentence, guys? We have lost, and we use this thing for present perfect. So the general rule is subject has have plus verb 3 plus object plus complement. If you need to transfer this sentence to the passive voice, you have to start with the object, then has, have, has for singular, have for plural, then add been, verb 3, and complement. I want to remind you something in this sentence. Sometimes the subject is singular, so you can use has, right? But when you transfer this sentence, the object is plural, so I can't use has. In this case, you have to use have. So keep that in your mind. I can switch between has and have, and that depends on the subject in the first sentence and the object on the second sentence. So be careful of this point, please. The last one, I think many students will love this statement, especially Abdullah and Ghalib, right? Because this sentence is true. All my classmates love Messi. Messi is loved by all my classmates. So, which one is active and which one is passive? The first one is active. The second one is passive. And who can tell me what is the tense of this sentence? Love, verb 1. So the tense is simple present. So how can I change statements in this tense? Start with the subject, verb 1, object, complement. In the passive voice, you have to start with the object, then am is are, verb 3, plus complement. So this is the first part from our class, that you have to differentiate between the active voice and the passive voice. So these are our objectives for this class. Number one, to differentiate between the active voice sentences and the past or the passive voice sentences. And secondly, to build up new sentences using the passive voice. I mean, we need to rewrite statements from the active voice to the passive voice. Now guys, look at this table. It's so important, it's so useful, especially when you need to transfer statements from the active voice to the passive voice. So, as I told you, my guys, before, that we have different tenses in English. So, in this table you can find all the tenses and the best way how to change from the active to the passive. Number one, we have present simple. I think I explained this thing in the previous slide. Subject, verb 1, object, complement. You have to start with the object, then am is are, then verb 3, then complement. Number 2, past simple. I explained this thing before. You have to use was, were, verb 3. Present continuous, subject am is are plus verb ing, object, complement. Start with the object, am is are, being, verb 3, complement. Now we have past continuous, subject was, were, verb ing, object, complement. You have to start with the object, then was, were, being, verb 3, complement. Was for singular, were for plural. Take care, please, guys. Now we have past perfect, subject had, verb 3, object, complement. Start with the object, had been plus verb 3 plus complement. Number 4, present perfect, subject has, have, verb 3, object, complement. Start with the object, then has, have, depending on the object, if it is singular or plural, then been, verb 3, complement. And the last one, we have future tense or future simple by using models. Models such as will, shall, can, must. You have to start with the object, then models, then be, verb 3 complement. So please memorize these rules and keep them in your mind because they are so useful and so important, especially when you need to change from the active voice to the passive voice. Now guys, these are some general notes. We use the passive when. So when should you use the passive voice? Number one, when the action is more important than who or what is responsible for it. So when I focus on the action, we should use the passive voice. For example, the new newspaper is read by many people. That this is the receiver of the action, the new newspaper. And we put the agent at the end of the sentence, that means it's not important. Number two, we don't know the agent. I don't know who did this thing, or it's not important. For example, the internet is used to get information. So we put the internet at the beginning of this sentence. That means it is the most important thing in this sentence. 3. When it's important to mention the agent in a passive sentence, we use the word by. So if it's necessary to mention the agent, you can use this word by. For example, this homework has been done by Sam. So if it's important to mention the agent, you can use this word by. So these are some general notes to some situations when I should use the passive voice. So guys, now we have this exercise. Which sentence is active and which one is passive? So now you have less than 1 minute. You can pause this video again and try to identify which sentence is active, which one is passive. So start now, please. So number one, guys, Honey washes the dishes. We start the sentence with the subject and we have washes. So this sentence is active. My room was being cleaned by my sister. We put by and the agent at the end of this sentence. That means it's not important. That means it's passive. Bira will be visited by thousands of tourists this year. We have by, the agent, will, model plus be plus verb 3. So it's passive. The students are taught by the professor. We have by, the agent at the end of this sentence. That means it's not important. So it's passive. I drink milk every morning. Active. This film has been watched several times. And who watched this film? We don't know. So the answer is passive. Now guys, let's move to this exercise. Complete each of the following items so that the new item has a similar meaning to the one before. So I need to change these statements from the active voice to the passive voice. First of all, I'm going to give you some steps which are useful in this case. Number one, move the object to be the new subject to the new sentence. Put the object at the beginning of the sentence. Step 2. Try to identify the tense of the sentence. And you come back to the table. 3. Don't forget to use the past participle. 4. If it's necessary to mention the agent, you can use the word with. So let's start together now. So 2 apples, we have eats. You can put a line under this verb. Eats, verb 1. That means you can use, or you have to use am is are. We have 2 apples, plural. So 2 apples are eaten weekly. 2. This woman drank 2 bottles of water last night. 2 bottles of water. Please remove this object from the sentence. Now try to identify the tense of the sentence. You can know this thing from the main verb. We have drank. Put a line under it. Drank is verb 2. So you have to use was or were. We have 2 bottles of water. Were. And the verb 3 from drank is drank. 2 bottles of water were drank by this woman last night. 3. They have made many mistakes in the exams. Many mistakes. So we started with the object, so please remove it. Now we need to identify the tense of the sentence. We have plus verb 3. That means it's present perfect. So you have to use has or have plus been plus verb 3. Many mistakes have been made in the exams. 4. My parents have saved enough money to fund our university courses. We have enough money. So we started with the object, so please remove it. Now we need to identify the tense of the sentence. We have plus verb 3, so it's present perfect. But in this sentence we have a trick. I mean, we have money, and money is uncountable noun, right? So uncountable nouns are dealt like singular nouns. So I can't say have. We switch have to be has, because money is uncountable. So has been saved by my parents to fund our university courses. Number 5, the messenger will deliver the package right now. The package, we started the sentence with the package. We started the sentence with the object. Then try to identify the tense of the sentence. We have will deliver. We have model plus infinitive. You can back to the table and apply the rule. The package will be delivered by the messenger right now. So these are the useful steps how to transfer statements from the active to the passive. So guys, now we have some questions in your student's book. We're gonna answer them together. Exercise A, read the sentence or read the sentences and complete the headings in the table. Use passive and active. We have here 2 statements. One of them is active and one of them is passive. So which one is active and which one is passive? You have less than 10 seconds. Try to identify which one is active and which one is passive. Yep, the first one. The prisoner interviewed the actress. 2. The actress was interviewed by the prisoner. So which one is active, which one is passive? The first one is active and the second one is passive. Exercise B. Now answer the questions. Who is the object in the active sentence? Where is the object in this sentence? The object is after the verb, so the answer is the actress. Who is the subject in the passive sentence? And as you know, my guys, we always start our sentences with the subject. So the subject in this case is the actress. Exercise C. Complete the rules. Now, number 1. We form passive sentences with the verb and the past participle. Look at this one. We have was interviewed. Interviewed is a past participle, and we have was, and we call was be. It is verb to be. Number 2, we change the form of the verb in passive sentences to talk about the present, past, future. So what can I change? We change the verb participle. I think I told you we always, in the passive voice, we need to use the participle. Now let's move to exercise D. Read the 3 active sentences and underline a gerund. And gerund means verb plus ing and infinitive. and a modal verb. Now look at these statements. We have three statements here. We have a gerund, we have an infinitive, and we have a modal verb. So kindly scan these statements and find for me these things. Okay guys, number one, we have taking. So please put a line under it, taking, and this one is a gerund. Two, when are you supposed to write? We have to write. Please put a line under it, and this is an infinitive. Three, Tom must pay. Must pay. Must is a modal, so kindly put a line under it. Must pay. Now you can notice, my guys, how we transfer these statements from the active to the passive. Now if we have a gerund, look at this one. We have gerund, right? So if we have a gerund in the sentence, you have to remove ing and you can add being before this verb and change it to the past participle. So the sentence is, children love being taken. So we transferred the gerund to be the past participle by adding being in front of this gerund. So being taken. Number two, when are you supposed to write the column? The passive sentence is, when is the column supposed to be written? So kindly put a line under this one again, to be written. So if we have an infinitive in the sentence, if we have an infinitive verb, I mean, we have to use to plus be, and we use the past participle. Number three, if we have a model, and I think we talked about this thing. A model, you have to add be plus past participle. So the newspaper subscription must be paid. So please put another line here, must be paid. So this is, or these are some cases how I use these things from the active voice to the passive voice. Now I need to complete these spaces by using gerund, and infinitive, or model. Let's read together now. We form the passive of a verb. Example, can, could, may, could. What do we call these things, guys? We call them model, right? How can I form the passive voice for model? You have to use be plus past participle. Now, a verb in the with be or to be plus a past participle. In which case we use to plus p plus a past participle. I think we use it in this case, to p plus past participle, so we have to use infinitive. 3. A with being plus a past participle. When I used being plus a past participle, I think we use it here, being taking. So the answer is gerund. So this is the first part in your book. We're going to complete questions together. Now exercise F, complete the sentences with the correct form of the passive and the verbs in brackets. So guys, before you start answering this question, you have to keep in your mind that you have to know the tense of this sentence. It's so important. So if you identify the tense of the sentence, I think everything will be clear and easy to use the correct verb between brackets. So I'm gonna give you less than 1 minute. Pause the video again and try to answer this question alone. So number one, the equipment by the sound engineer now. We have now, and this word indicates for something is happening now. So the tense of this sentence is the present continuous. And what can I use in the present continuous passive? Am is are plus being plus verb 3. We have the equipment, it is singular, so you have to use is being tested. Number 2, this photo at the nature preserve in Beverly Shore, Indiana. So how can I rewrite this one, or how can I use the correct verb, you have to know the tense of this sentence, and depending on the meaning of this sentence, we know that it is in the past, so you have to use was or were plus verb 3. So this photo was taken these days. Please put a line under this one, these days. This one indicates for the present. Many books are made with recycled paper. Number 4, the article needs. Again, we have needs, and I think in this case we have an infinitive verb. So how can I rewrite this one? You have to use to plus p plus verb 3. So the answer is to be edited. Number 5, the even must. We have must, and this is a model, right? It is a model verb. So we have to use be plus verb 3. So P covered. The winner of the game shall the prize next week. We have next week. This indicates for future. So you have to use will plus P plus verb 3. So the answer is will be given. Number 7 now. He wanted his photos in Paris. We have this verb. Please put a line under it. We have an infinitive verb. So how can I use the correct verb? You have to use to plus P plus verb 3. So the answer is to be accepted. Number 8, the economic crisis on the front page of the Times tomorrow. We have tomorrow. So kindly put a line on this one. It indicates for future. So what can I use? Will plus P plus the verb 3 or the past participle featured. Now guys, finally let's answer the last one to rewrite these statements from the active to the passive. So number 1, the TV channel will broadcast the program tomorrow evening. So you have to start the statements with these bold words. So I have to start my sentence with the program. The second step, try to identify the tense of the sentence. We have will. So this one indicates for the future. Then we have to use be. Then the past participle broadcasted by the channel tomorrow evening. So kindly pause the video again and try. You have less than 3 minutes to complete this exercise alone. So start now, please. Okay, guys, let's answer this one together, and you can check your answer now. Many people watch reality shows every day. We have reality shows. So start with reality shows. And what is the tense of this sentence? We have watched. This is verb 1. So you have to use am is are. So the answer is reality shows are watched by many people every day. 3. We have they should use better quality paper for newspapers. We have better quality paper should be used for newspapers. Number 4. Start with many opposites. So we have to start many opposites of days of our lives have been filmed by this cameraman. We have here has plus verb 3. So why I switch has to be have? Because here we have singular, but the object here in this sentence is plural. Number 5. The school children are given a lot of homework by the teacher. Number 6. The natural disaster is being covered by many journalists. Number 7, please focus on this point. The constant will have been asked 20 questions by the prisoner by the end of the quiz. In this case, we have a different situation that we have will have plus verb 3, and this tense is future perfect. So how can I change this case? We have subject will have plus verb 3 plus object plus complement. So start with the object, then will, then have, then you can add been plus verb 3 plus complement. So you can add this general rule to the table. And the last one, the heavy snow had been forecast by the weatherman before the drops in temperature. At the end, my guys, I hope you got a lot of benefits from this lesson. I hope now you had an idea how to differentiate between different types of statements, if it is active or passive. You had an idea now how to transfer statements from the active voice to the passive voice. Wish you all the best, my guys. See you soon, inshallah. Bye bye.